Hello, hello, buenos dias, good morning. I should say in French too, bonjour, everybody. So I am so excited because today I have the lovely Betty Gonzalez, who's interviewed me several times to start her podcast a year ago, and we did a video last week. And I was like, you know what? It is time for me to actually ask Betty to be on this platform to share who she is, what she does, and the amazing work that she does in Doral. But at first one, before Betty starts, good morning, Betty. Thank you for being with us. But I
Thank you
really,
for having me.
yeah, of course. I really want to start by saying how we met, which is doing this video. It's been, oh my gosh, I think it's a year and a half or 2 years, actually, in 2022. Krista Mayshaw, who's a realtor with EXP, not advertising anything, just really how we met was through her training, her coaching. And yes, I'm actually someone who goes and learn what realtors are learning and their pain and suffering in the market so I can help them, right? So for me, it's that collaboration. And I thought that was perfect, but it was also the digital aspect, which is so important nowadays. And Betty has been running with it, has been doing an amazing job, and she has a specific niche that she likes to provide expertise to, which is the Doral area. But before I say more, Betty, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, how you started, and just how you want to start, and then I'll ask you some more questions.
Well, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your platform. And thank you for so much for coming to mine. It's been a pleasure. And you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that about how we met, because a lot of agents and had, mortgage lenders, sometimes we have this passing relationship, and it's not like a real friendship and organic like the ones we were how we got connected, because we want to grow by learning. So we go to seek these coaching platforms, and like you said, we're not trying to advertise anything, but what I want people to take out from this conversation is that we are professionals of what we do, and we're seeking to get better all the time. And that's how I got the privilege to meet you. And in the platform that we were using, or the coaching that we were in, was to learn how to do videos and do exactly what we're doing right now. So we are trying to get educated so that we can better serve our audience. And right now, the truth is, the most people that trying to purchase a property, they go through the internet, and that's how they find the information that they're seeking. And that's why we're here in this platform, so that we can also be where they're at and meet them where they have the questions, and hopefully they get something out of our conversation today. And to tell you a little bit about myself, like you said, I'm over here in South Florida, specifically in the area of Doral. And it is really important to me that people know exactly where I am, because I used to be a soldier in the US Army. And I myself bought houses and sold houses for myself, not as an agent. And one of the challenges that I had was, oh my God, I'm going to go to this new area. And it's so many agents, I just don't know who to pick. I don't know who to trust, because this is a big purchase that you're doing in your life. This is a big decision. And when you are doing a decision like this, you want to make sure that you have the person that's going to best represent you in this purchase, because at the end of the day, we represent the client, right? We work together, but we're representing them. And that's why I wanted to make sure that people know exactly where I was and how I could help them in the area that they were coming to, especially if they were in the military. Plus, you want to make sure that you are try to do your best to know your market. And that's what I aim to do. I'm trying to do the best to to learn the market that I'm in, so I could better serve my clients. And a little bit about myself. Yes, I live in Doral. And a funny story, I was actually born in the Dominican Republic. I came to the States when I was 15, and I went to Miami Senior High School here in Miami. And the reason I mention this is because if anybody's from Miami or ever visited, they will know that most people speak Spanish in the Miami area. So it was really, really, really hard for me to speak English, to learn how to speak it. I know how to read it and write it, but to actually speak it was crazy. So I thought it was like something that I could never achieve, to tell you the truth. And then I met my recruiter, and the first thing I asked him, "Hey, I will ever learn how to speak English?" And he said, "Of course you will in the Army." So I was like, "You don't have to say anything else." So I joined, The rest is history. I stayed for 22 years. I joined right out of the map station right here in Doral. And then I came back right here and now I'm serving my community. And one of my slogans is from serving our country to now serving you. And I take that to heart. That's really what I want to do. And that's how I ended up here in Doral and doing what I'm doing now.
A beautiful story. And it's another common thread that we have is we're both from the islands. I was born and raised in Guadeloupe, much tiny bitty island from the Dominican Republic. I came after high school though. And so also the language was another aspect, right? Learning English as a second language. The reason I'm also looking to decide, so give me a moment because I also want to share on the map where Doral is. So let's hopefully you can see the map. Can you see?
I see it. Yes, I do.
Perfect. So for
Just
people,
speak me. Okay, there you go.
yep, people who are from maybe the north of Florida or even other areas, because I service other areas like Georgia, I just want to go ahead and kind of give a visual where Miami is and Doral area. So Betty, thank you so much for sharing how you started and always being the heart of service, always wanting to learn from your experience. And then from that, how can I better serve? If I was experiencing the need for someone to be an expert in the area that I was looking to purchase, like Doral or any other area, let me seek out those who are expert, not necessarily the ones who are covering maybe the whole Broward or Dade area, very specific. And everybody has a perspective when it comes to that because you want it to be more specific on the area. Some are going to be more first-time buyers. So everybody has their niche. And I love that you develop yours around your experience, veterans, and providing that education. So thank you for sharing that aspect and how loyal you are too, because you basically came from the Dominican Republic, started an area, went to the army, and now still serving an area that you enjoy, an area that you also live in. You're not necessarily servicing just an area outside of like, I go there for work. So I love that. I think that's beautiful. Now, how is the market right now in Doral? Now that we put it in the map and have an idea, what is the average price point that people are going to be looking at that in that area? And who's moving there?
Okay, so the truth is Doral is one of the most expensive cities right here, even within Miami-Dade County. Excuse me. So the average price point for a single family home specifically is around the 1 million mark, give or take. For a townhouse or a condominium, it will be, for a townhouse, it will be around 650,000. The average. Obviously, it could be a
Right.
little bit less or a little bit more, but that's the average. So looking for 3.2 if you're looking in the area. And then for a condo, believe it or not, it will be about that 450 to 500,000 just for a condo right here in Doral. And interestingly enough that you're asking me, because I do study the market a lot and I try to do videos on this. And last week I was doing that the market, the average price point have gone up just a little tiny bit. However, what's happening right now that is really, really important for those home sellers that are seeking to sell, like I mentioned before, people that want to sell because they have to. Very seldom people just going to go through the trouble of putting their house on the market just for fun. They usually have to. So if this is you, I want you to take into account that even though the average sales price is a little higher than the same time last year, now we have double the inventory, close to 48% of that of last year, as well as days on market. So less houses are selling, so pending sales are half that what it was last year this time. So just to give you a random number, so if this last year 50 houses sold, in the same time, now it's only 25 selling. So half the houses are selling at the rate right at this moment. It could change next month at the beginning of next year. But right now, compared to last year, it's half. So what does that mean to you as a seller? Well, that there's more inventory piling up because there's also more houses coming on the market. And the average days on market have gone up like 38%. So it used to take, let's say, from the time that you come on the market to the time that somebody places an offer and you accept it as a seller, it used to be about 38 days. Now it has gone up to over 50 days. So that's a big jump in time on market. So more days on market, more houses coming on the market, new listings, almost half, more, double, and then less than half are selling. So that's going to take longer if you want to come on the market right now to sell. Plus, the buyers have more choices. So just as a seller, if you're a seller, I just don't want you to have the wrong expectations, believing that your house is going to sell as if you put your house on the market back in 2020, 2021.
Right.
And the lease to sales price is almost 4.5% lower. So if you put the house for 100,000, for example, you're gonna get 94.5% of what you're asking
That's right.
right now.
Got it. So now you briefly also mentioned for buyers. So what does that mean for a buyer coming to buying Doral? Would that be advantageous for them that the homes are staying longer on the market because they can now negotiate better? That's what I'm hearing some realtors provide as a buyer's agent when they're specifically with buyers. Is like, you know what, this is a perfect time to buy because it's longer on the market. You can negotiate. What's your perspective on buyers coming to purchase in Doral when they see the homes on the market for this long?
Okay, so yeah, this is an excellent point. If you're a buyer, you are in an excellent position to go out and make your offers right now. Whether it's in Doral, South Florida, it doesn't matter where. But specifically here in South Florida, because we're having more inventory, then this is what's happening. Before you didn't have that many choices or that much choice. Like if you're gonna put an offer, you want to put at asking price or above asking, and maybe the sellers were not giving you any concessions. Well, now not only you have time to negotiate, because before you didn't have time to negotiate, you had to put your offer. You had to put your offer yesterday.
Right.
You have a little bit of time to look and see your options and weigh in, is this in the right area? So you can really get what you're looking for. Plus, you can negotiate. You can negotiate concessions, seller concessions. Seller concessions usually mean that they're helping you for closing costs, or maybe they're giving you, longer, whatever it is, closing costs, or like help you buy down your interest.
Right. And I was going to
Right.
mention that point. Exactly.
Right. They can either do those. And now that the buyers have to pay the buyer's agents, even they're accommodating those as well. So if you put it in your offer that you also want those covered by the seller, they're accommodating, and you will be surprised. Don't be afraid. Yes, the interest rates are fluctuating higher and lower, but this is a good thing for you. Because if somebody has been on the sidelines and they really want to buy, but they're a little afraid, but you're not, then you can take advantage. Because if the interest rates go down at the beginning of the year, then all of those people that are waiting, guess what? They're going to drive prices back up. And while interest rates can fluctuate, once you have a house as you buy it at the high point, you can now go back and refinance for a lower price. Well, you can refinance an APR. So you want to buy the houses at the lowest point, even if the interest rate is higher, because you can always negotiate that down, or refinance, where if you had buy the house at the highest point, that's it, you're stuck with that.
Exactly. Great points. And one point that you mentioned as far as closing costs, and as a lender, I want to emphasize on too, is we want to make sure that you're calculating your buy down of the interest rate. Does it make sense based on how long you're going to be staying in the home to actually buy the rate down for whatever amount it's costing you? It's a little bit less painful when you know that you're negotiating the seller, even though you may have all your funds available, your down payment, your closing costs and everything. But knowing that in your price margin, you are able to negotiate for the seller to pay some of your closing costs specifically so you can pay towards your discount points to buy the rate down. Very often it helps in the process of getting your qualification for your payment into your budget, but also sometimes a qualification just to be able to be in that margin of the debt to income ratio, because the price point that you're mentioning, very often that can lead into what's called a jumbo financing, right? So it's a whole different platform. It's a whole different qualification in the regular conforming. But also you as a veteran, do you specifically work with veterans? Do you see veterans coming in your area? Who comes to your area, Betty?
Oh, that's a great question. So yes, I do work with many veterans that comes to the area, but it's not just only veterans. A lot of people want to be in Doral because it's a family community. So if you're a business person, also they want to be here because we have a whole bunch of 500 companies here in Doral, believe it or not. Fortune 500 companies are here, like Carnival, and even government headquarters are here, like Southcom. It's right here in Doral. A lot of people don't realize, but we have the headquarters, the police headquarters right here in Doral. We have a lot of headquarters here, and we have a lot of warehousing. So over 100,000 people come to Doral every day just to work here. So a lot of people don't know this. So people that come here are business people and family people. And it doesn't matter if you're young or old, we have a vibrant community. So it welcomes everybody. And the military community that live here, unfortunately, usually are um, officers because the junior enlisted is sometimes too expensive for them. That's why they're building housing here. They're building a military housing right in front of the base so that people that are, the soldiers that are not don't have that much income can actually live here. But right now, the soldiers that are moving here are
Mhm.
officers or retirees. People that been here before or that they're from the area. Those are the ones that are wanting to come back to Doral. And I like to be able to be here to give them I don't know, a warm welcoming to the area, because if you have been in the military like myself, I was gone for 22 years. A lot has changed. And you want to know where your people are at because it could feel very lonely here. So, yes, there's a lot of military, but also family people and business people are attracted to that.
So, so now let's pivot into how you work with clients, right? So let's say you're listing a home. What is your approach with a seller?
Okay, so I'm glad that you asked this question because my main focus is education and trying to help the seller have the right expectations and then let them know that we work together as a team. But I don't just come and tell you, I don't just want to come and get your house and put it on the market and just say, well, let's see let's hope and pray. We
Mm,
have to have a strategy behind what we are going to advertise your property. For example, like you're talking about, like what are the right clients that are coming to the area that are going to be attracted to your property? Since you mentioned, we've taken numerous classes on digital marketing and how to properly position my client's property online to target those specific people moving to the area. So that is one way. But the main reason or the main strategy is the pricing strategy,
mhm.
because right now we are in a marketplace where there's a lot of people that are coming out of the market without selling, or there's a lot of people that are chasing the market down. So what I would like to position my clients is I like to show them a strategy, which I clearly show them and they can actually see it for themselves. There's no me just telling them. We do this together, and they can actually see the strategy work for them if we were to apply it in how we can position the property to where they are the clear choice. For example, you know that if there's other properties in your market in the same neighborhood, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, you want to be the clear choice. Well, I show them my strategy on how they could be the clear choice once they come on the market. But that is a lot of details to explain that. So what I want, the main thing is I like to communicate with my clients so that we can become partners in the sale of their property, position them online the right way to attract the right buyers, and as well as pricing correctly so that they don't have to find themselves chasing the market or worse, coming out of the market without selling. Because at the end of the day, we want to sell.
Correct, right. Because like you said earlier, people don't want to just necessarily sell a home just for the fun of it. Unless they're an investor that's looking to flip, but that's a whole different market. So for homeowners, like the ones that you're mentioning, like families and those who are looking to, they have to sell and relocate, or those coming in. I love that you have what you call a strategy and you love to educate. And this is something that you're not just saying this is a sticker price you're taking or leaving it. It's like, let me show you how we coming to that number so you can understand what's going to make it sell. Because a lot of times, not and the home will stay on the market longer because of the price. It's also the market based on people coming into the market, but the right price is also going to attract. And you've learned over the years how to place a home for visibility. So you don't just do the traditional open house and being on grounds in the boots, you're also doing the digital. How is the digital working for you? How do you see that differentiation for how you're placing those homes on the market?
Krista, before I go there,
Yeah.
let me explain to you. Unfortunately, you know, I'm an agent and I don't like to bath my coworkers per
Mhm.
se. You know, there are other agents, but unfortunately, there's some agents that will give false expectations to the seller and tell them that the house is worth more than they are, just because that's what they believe the client want to hear. And at the end of the day, it won't sell. So I am not in the business of lying to my clients. I'm in the business of actually telling them the truth and guide them to the results that they're seeking.
Mhm.
And the truth is, Crystal, a lot of clients don't want to hear that. But I'm sorry, I live in this area and I don't want to have the reputation that I put houses on the market and they just don't sell. I'd rather you be upset at me by telling you the truth than taking your house on the market and not sell, right? So and then the way that like you said about the strategic in the digital marketing, it works well, it works wonder, because like we mentioned earlier, the buyers are on the market searching. So, for example, if somebody wants to come to Doral from New York, that's where people move most
Mhm.
from New York to
Okay.
here. That's where people are transferring over out
Mhm.
of state. There's
Mhm.
a lot of people that come from within the state, but if the people are looking in Doral, this is what I found. People are also looking Doral, West Palm Beach, Orlando, and Tampa. Those are the areas that people are attracted, and those are kind of like the same kind of price point. So I like to target all those areas of people that are looking in that area that because they're also contemplating all of those areas, right? And what happened is they go into Google and they Google, you know, Doral, South Florida. Sometimes they don't necessarily put Doral, they just put South Florida and then neighborhoods, right? So I target those people specifically because I actually can tell through our education that we've got on training the price point and target those specific families that are looking for that price point because every house has a buyer. You just have to find it, right? So that's the advantage that I have, and that I'm pretty sure other agents are using, but they're not using it correctly. That I know that for a fact because we were in these classes and we can tell that some are not. So that's the advantage that I can offer to the clients right now. Other than I live here, I know the market, I know there are people that are moving here, but I'm only one person. Google and YouTube, they actually know. They know these people better than we do. And so is Facebook. So that's how I can position my clients' properties in the best position online to where people that are looking in this area can find them.
Beautiful. So you are a realtor who works, let's say, by yourself, right? You're not in a team. You represent yourself. You don't represent a team. You represent Betty Gonzalez, who likes to uphold her reputation of somebody, if I place a house on the market, it will sell. And I have also shared with you the strategy. So I'm really hearing someone who's passionate about the education part of it, but also collaboration with the seller, you really learn the education, not just of others, but yourself first, right? I love how you basically say the strategies you have. You're giving us some nuggets of how you go about it. You don't just place a home on the market, you're really doing your homework. And I admire that about you. Do you have a success story that you would like to share? And it doesn't have to be specific of Doral or anything that we've talked about. One that's close to your heart that maybe got you to say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be a will to represent. Like, is there a story that comes right now to mind that you would like to share with us, success story?
More than I said, I want to share two. They were
Okay.
military, two military. One that was moving PCSing from South Korea to here to South Florida. And one of the spouses was going to work right here in Southcom. And that was their very first house. And they were very nervous. You don't understand. They were really nervous. And I was trying my best to like educate them and help them feel comfortable, with asking me questions and me telling them about the area. They never lived in Florida. They visited or they maybe just landed here and continue where they were going. So there, I showed them the property. We looked very hard during that time, was really, really hard competition. And they were using the VA loan. During 2020, 2021, it was really, really hard for people to accept VA loans right here in South Florida. Why? Because usually the VA loans are 100% financed, and the clients are not willing to pay above the appraisal value. And the VA certainly is not going to do that. And people were putting offers above asking price. So we were in a bind. So I was really, really proud to help them get their first property. And it was hard. We put an offer on this property, not once, but twice. And we just persisted and kept on coming back to it until we won the offer. First, because we did have a strategy. I knew the house was overpriced. And even though it went under contract, we knew it was not going to appraise. So we waited patiently, and that's exactly what happened. And we came back. And I told the agent and the seller were very, very scared. I'll tell you, because they told me they'd never done a VA loan. So the only way that they were able to accept that loan was because I personally got the relationship with this agent. And when I went to look at the house, the seller was there. And I was doing the walkthrough with my clients on the phone. And I was able to answer the questions that the seller had directly, because unfortunately, the agent couldn't actually explain it to her the way that I did to make it feel comfortable accepting the offer. And that's what sealed the deal. So I feel really, really proud of that transaction, because not only I help my clients, because as agents, we have to be able to tame people's emotions, because it's very emotional and you cannot get emotional. You have to be factual and you have to explain it. And I explain it to the seller that, hey, I understand that sometimes people have this understanding about the VA loan, but the VA loan is just another program. The only difference is tailored towards the military. And the reason is 100% financing is because soldiers move so often that it's really hard for them to save 20% every 2 to 3 years to put in a house plus closing costs. And that is a form of saying thank you for your service, that the government is giving the soldiers the ability to purchase like that. But there's nothing wrong with the loan. And I just want you to assure you, not only is it a good loan, it's the best loan for military, because what it does is the lenders, the VA is not a lender. This is just an institution. The lenders lend because the VA loan, if for some reason the soldiers default on this, they have 25% reassurance that the VA is going to pay them. Even more so than somebody that puts 20% on a conventional loan. So I explained that to her, and she's like, oh, I didn't know this and that, and they felt comfortable. And it went through. And I'll tell you this, Krista, when my clients came, it was really, really emotional. And they've never seen this property in person, only through videos. Even though I showed them the community, they came and I was coming with them, and I was like holding my breath, opening the door. And when they walked through this door, they looked at me and they gave me a high five. You did it, Betty. They were so happy. That was a really good. Maybe I could throw some pictures on a replay on this, and I'll show this for you.
That would be nice.
And then this other client was another client that coming out of state. And him and his spouse with kids and a dog and a big family. And this house will also put 2 offers in the same property. And we came back and we insisted. And at the same time, it was overpriced. So you have to have a strategy for your sellers, but you also have to have a strategy for your buyers. So this is what I see buyers do, Crystal. They see the very first house that come, first date on the market. And it's the most beautiful house, right? That everybody wants. Sometimes those beautiful houses fall through the cracks. Well, those are the ones we need to find. The beautiful houses that have been on the market for at least 30 days. If you're a buyer and you're serious and you want to really get the house that you want, and you want to get it at a good price, and you want to get the concessions, and you want to get the agents' commissions, you want to find those nuggets in the area that you are, because they're there. You have to have an agent that have the patience with you, right? But you also need to have this smart and listen to your agent. Because if you want to come for the best house at the best price when it first come on the market, if it was you as a seller and they come and give you 10,000, 20,000 below asking price, and you just came on the market 2 days ago, would you take it?
No, of course not. Like, let me wait and
Exactly.
see what's going to happen.
But
Yeah.
now if it's the same house for 30 days and hasn't sold, then you can do that because it makes sense. So
Mhm.
that's the same thing that I tell my sellers. You want to come on the market at the best price so that you can bet the best offer, right? Because if you come overpriced, people, agents like me, we're gonna know we're gonna wait it out. And then we're gonna wait it out and tear you down until you accept our offer. I
Mhm.
mean, so not all agents do this, but I have the patience with my client. And this is the difference, I believe. And this is what I bring to my clients. I have the knowledge. I really do know the market. And I have the patience, and I can guide the seller and the buyer to actually make the right choices for themselves, because I don't want a buyer to have buyer's remorse. And I don't want to have a seller to have seller's remorse when they choose me because they didn't chose or didn't come on the market at the right price. So I'm sorry, I think I went too long.
No, that's perfect. You share so much on VA. I mean, you're providing a lot of nuggets, and it definitely shows your expertise and your knowledge of the market, but also relationship. I mean, all I hear, everything you share has that relationship you're building. And even though you could be a buyer's agent working with a listing agent, I can also hear you working with them. You're providing the education. Like, people have an issue with government loans, FHA, VA, because they are perception, and oh, it's better to have a conventional 20% down. Well, not all the time. And then, like you said, it might be an appraisal, it's a little bit stricter, but other than that, it's 100% finance that's beneficial for the veteran. So you've shared a lot of great nuggets, and it shows you go beyond the no. You keep pushing if it's the right home for your clients. So I love how you're sharing your expertise, but also how you go about it, which is collaboration with all parties to get to one result for everybody to win in the prospect of selling or buying. So I love that. Now, as we're going to get closer to an end to our conversation, what is one advice that you have right now that maybe you haven't shared yet from where we've talked about the market, but what is one advice or few advice that you would share for somebody who's looking to buy or sell in Doral or just in general? What's like that one advice with this current market or even 2025?
Okay, so kind of more what I just shared with you, but let me bring it home, right? You first of all, if you are going to sell your property, try to interview 2 to 3 agents, right? And then ask them exactly what are the strategies that they're going to use to sell your property, that really sell your property. You don't want them to just give you a number because that's going to make you feel good, because you have to work with the numbers that are there, like the facts of the market. There's two things that sell a house other than having the right marketing. Right marketing matters. But before that, you want to make sure that you know uh, the value, the market value, which is one thing. And this is what the appraisal is going to use for comparables that have sold. That's one aspect. But then you also want to know the market condition. Is the market going down or is the market going up? Because if it's going down, houses that sold 3 months ago for one price, those same houses that come on the market would not sell for the same price if the market is going down. So you have to take that into account. So if we come to a price point because of the facts meaning these are what houses that sold recently in your market, right? Then that's a fact. You cannot change that. So if the average price point right now is $1 million, for example, but you know that the market conditions are going down at a 2, 3, 4, 5% down, then maybe the right price to market your property is 3 to 5, even 8% below that, because you don't want to be the one chasing the market down. That's what you need to know. Those two things. What is the actual facts of how the value of my property is today, not yesterday, today, and what is the market doing? Is it going up or down, or is it staying level? That's the first thing that you want to make sure that your agent understand. Because remember, there's a lot of great agents, and like in any business or any field, you're gonna have average agents, you're gonna have great agents, you're gonna have agents that just don't know what they're doing. That's how it is. So you want to interview 3, and you are smart enough. You bought a house, so you know what it feels to have a good agent. Now, if you are a buyer looking to buy, don't stay on the sidelines. If you really know you want to buy, the first thing you need to know is don't think about how much the house costs or how much the interest rate. You want to make sure, can I make these payments? Can I make these payments? Am I able to afford to pay these payments? That's all you need to make sure that you as the client know. Then you want to know your area. You don't want to be scattered all over the place because that'll give you stress. They give you overwhelm. Just as a person, find out what you really want. As a couple, find out what you need. And then narrow your search down. And then after you know all of that, you need to go and talk to a lender like yourself to see, you know what you think you are qualified for. You want to know what you qualify for, because once you know, then you know. Then you don't have to, a lot of people are afraid. This is the main thing that's crazy to me. I want to buy a house, but I don't want to go through the process. Well, let me tell you, I don't want them to touch my credit. Well, why were you building credit for 30 years for if it's not to make a big purchase? The
Right.
credit that you're building, it's only to buy something. So you have to go through that process.
That's right.
So you first need to know how much you can afford. Then you need to narrow the stuff down, and you need to know what your monthly payments you can afford. And then please, if your lender say you can buy a $400,000 house as the max, then you have to be strategic enough to only look the max at 375,000. Don't go to 400,000. Don't look at that. Don't even look at it. Just stay at 375. Then you know if this is something that you find in that price point, that if you need a wiggle room, then you have wiggle room. But don't go and look at your max and then be mad when you lose every offer, because somebody that's in that price point, they might not be at their max, but they will be your offer every day. I don't know
Great.
if I don't know if I meant if people understood what I said, but
Nice.
that's the advice that I have for sellers and buyers. They need to know the market and know your agent that is going to fight for you and give you the strategies. Sellers need to have a strategy, and so does buyers.
Definitely. So you definitely clearly share knowledge, education, and do the homework. And that's why we're providing information as well, so people can know where to start. Now, you personally, Betty, what do you foresee for yourself? Because I know you interview a lot of experts in the Doral area, and not just mortgage or lending or real estate. How do you see yourself in 2025? Like, what do you bring to the table? What's your goal for 2025?
Oh my God. Thank you for that question, because I really do have a big goal. And my big goal is to really, really, really be, excuse me, that trusted source for sellers, specifically right here in Doral, because I see so many houses coming off the market without selling. So my goal is to educate, bring more market update so that people are in the pulse of what's happening so they can make the best decision for themselves. I want to be a source of information and knowledge. So when they make the decision whether they want to go with me or not, because to be honest, there's a lot of people that have family members, their spouse, their wives, their mothers. That's fine. That's fine that if you're going to pick them, but at least that you as a seller, you know exactly what to expect. So that when you come on the market, you are successful in what you're doing. That's what I intend to do, to be a source of information. And if, of course, they need an agent that they know, once they interview me and interview other people, I don't mind if you interview other people, because that's the right thing to do. Interview other people, and then I know that once we talk, you're going to make the right choice, because you know what right looks like when you interview these people.
Beautiful. So, couple more questions, because I know we're a little bit over our 30 minutes that we had aimed for, but I want to know, what is it that's fun in your area to do? Is there
Oh
something
my
you
goodness.
love doing in Dubai? Which, by the way, you were in Paris during the Olympics, so thanks for going out. I'm originally from France. But yeah, what is a fun thing to do that you personally, or you know that people enjoy doing in Doral?
Okay, so like I said, I mentioned this is a family-oriented community, and I have two kids, and I have my husband, I have a dog. So I really, really, really do love that you have, seriously, you have everything here. I don't know if people don't know, but my husband and I, we enjoy stand-up comedy. Well, we have that here. It's in Doral. We have the stand-up comedy. It's in City Place. I like it there because you can go for an ice cream. You can go do your nails, or you can go eat, At nighttime, some of these restaurants become clubs. If that's what you do, that's what you like, you can do that. If you want to go to the comedy club, you can do that. But by the way, if you don't want to do any of that, you just want to watch a movie, you can catch a movie and a dinner. You can do that in City Place, and that's your City Place, right? Then we also have more than 11 parks right here in this less than 4 square miles, of an area. We have around 100,000 residents here. And we have one of our biggest parks just opened, which is Doral Central Park, which is, by the way, right across from the military base. And other housing areas there is right off of 33. So I just love the area because you have so much to do. We have two malls. We have the Miami International Mall is actually in Doral proper. And we have Dolphin Mall, which is really close by, which a lot of people don't know. This is an outlet, but it's indoor. So a lot of the stores there are outlet prices.
Mm-hmm.
And at night times, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they have live bands, music there. People can eat, drink, or just have a nice time.
Yeah.
Doral is really beautiful. It's not only those things that I mentioned to you, but just to go for a stroll and walk. Doral was named Tree City like 4 or 5 years in a row because it has so many green trees and it's just beautiful. I mean, I know you like the beach and you stay by the beach,
Yes.
but girl, if you did not need the sea, Doral is the place for
It
anybody.
sounds like you transported me there.
You
I
need to come
immediately
here
went
one
there.
day and we just need to go out. Seriously, it's beautiful. It's a nice place to be, and it's so close to the airport and to the freeways. You are surrounded by the freeway, the Tom Park, the 826, the 836, the it
Easy
girl,
access.
you easy access everywhere. I just really, really, really enjoy living here. I mean it. Like I live here and I love living here. And one of my slogans too is like, I love where I live and I want you to love where you live too, because it's true. I love it here.
That's beautiful. And I can hear the passion and I got all excited myself, like, oh, it's time to go back to Florida. Um, so Betty, what is the best way? You don't have to share numbers out. I can put it in the comments, but what is the best way for people to connect with you? With that email, social media, what is the best way to connect with you?
Sure. So I go by Doral Homes by Betty Gonzalez. The truth is, I'm everywhere with that name. So if you Google it, you find Doral Homes by Betty Gonzalez and Google my business. You find my YouTube channel, Doral Homes by Betty Gonzalez. My Instagram is Doral Homes by Betty Gonzalez. And so is my Facebook and even TikTok. So you can find me everywhere like that, and you can email me or text me. And if you are gonna text, tell me who you are, where you're from, what you're trying to do, because we do get a lot of scammers. So that would be great. That would be the best way to communicate and contact me.
Beautiful. So as a close to close our conversation, it's been beautiful. You transported us to my South Florida and shared your passion. And thank you again for your service and continuing your heart by serving those who are looking to buy real estate in Florida. What is the one thing you would like to leave us and close with?
Live your life to the fullest. Don't be afraid of tomorrow. Yesterday already passed. Today is a gift. Today is a present. So live your life to the fullest and have faith that whatever it is that your mind want and desire, that you can go out and get it.
Beautiful. I will not add anything else. I love it. Live your life to the fullest. Thank you so much, Betty.
Bye. Thank you for having me, Crystal. Have a good